The gardens of the royal spire were a symphony of engineered life, where silver leaves chimed in the perfumed air and light danced in prismatic showers. Here the princess walked, her steps measured, her 4 graceful hands clasped before her. To her people, she was the image of serene perfection, a being of slender limbs and skin the hue of twilight. Inside, she felt a hollow space, a silence where a future should echo. The diagnosis from the grand physician had been final, delivered with respectful sorrow. A rare genetic stabilization, a blessing of her ancient lineage, had rendered her womb a locked garden. She could never conceive, never continue the royal line. For a species that cherished familial bonds across centuries, it was a quiet, profound extinction. Her value, she knew in the cold logic of the court, had just been recalibrated from heir to bargaining chip. It was her chief advisor, a venerable scholar with eyes like deep wells, who brought the fragment of forgotten lore. He found it in a decaying stellar record, a medical annotation from a first contact survey of a species called humanity. The report was dry, clinical. It noted the unique, chaotic vitality of human genetic material, its dynamic instability, and robust adaptive qualities. The annotation, a mere footnote, suggested theoretical compatibility with the princess's locked code, a potential key to the genetic seal. It is only a theory. My lady, the advisor murmured, his voice blending with the garden's chimes. And the price? The price is adjoining, the princess finished, gazing at the triple moons beginning their ascent. A marriage. The proposal sent shockwaves through the stellar kingdoms. The princess's people, the Alari, were refined, masters of subtle energy and elegant philosophy. Humans, as the general memory recalled, were loud, chaotic, fractious, and stubbornly, vibrantly physical. To bond a daughter of the eternal spires to one of these short-lived, stormy creatures was unthinkable. Yet the princess insisted. The hollow space within her yearned to be filled not with duty, but with possibility. After lengthy, tense diplomatic exchanges, a candidate was found. He was a human specialist in xenobotany, a man who preferred the company of alien soil to stellar courts. He accepted the proposition not for status, but for the unprecedented access to the Alari biolibraries it promised. His name was simple, unadorned. He arrived without fanfare. Where the Alari glided, he walked with a firm, steady tread. His 2 hands seemed clumsy to them, his frame solid where they were willowy. His voice did not chime. It resonated. The princess observed him from her balcony as he was shown to his quarters. He paused not to admire the crystalline architecture, but to examine the creeping vine with unusual phosphorescence, touching a leaf with a gentleness that surprised her. Their first meeting was a formal affair in the hall of Whispering Dawn. He wore a simple, dark suit of human design. She was a vision in flowing silks. You understand the arrangement, she stated, her voice the perfect melodic instrument she had been trained to use. I do, he replied. His eyes, a color like the Terran sky, met hers directly. It was disconcerting. A union of political necessity and biological curiosity. I have my conditions for access to your agricultural archives. And I have mine, she said. The union must be legally binding in both our cultures. And it must be attempted for the possibility of a child. He nodded, a single firm motion. Agreed. I am not here to deceive you. The court expected disaster. They expected his human roughness to offend, his directness to bruise, his very biology to clash with their refined atmosphere. Instead, a quiet, mutual study began. He did not try to mimic Alari grace. In his assigned gardens, he worked, sleeves rolled up, tending the extraterrestrial flora with a scientist's care and a gardener's heart. The princess would often find him there, speaking softly to a budding flower cluster, his hands patiently guiding a struggling tendril. He asked her questions not about protocol, but about soil composition, about symbiotic fungi, about the meaning of the colors in the Elari growth cycle. Slowly, cautiously, she began to answer. Then she began to ask her own. She asked about Earth, about its chaotic, uncontrolled biomes. He described forests where trees fought for light, deserts that bloomed violently after rain, oceans teeming with frantic, wonderful life. He spoke of resilience, of adaptation, of life's insistence on finding a way. His words painted pictures of a world not of elegant harmony, but of powerful, creative struggle. He showed her images, not of human cities, but of a place called a redwood forest, sunlight shafting through immense ancient trunks. He showed her a coral reef, a riot of color and form. He spoke of his work, of splicing hardy earth plants with failing alien crops to ensure food security on struggling colony worlds. His life was not about preserving perfection, but about fostering survival, about encouraging strength in the face of entropy. One evening, in the private observatory, she gestured to the triple moons. Their orbits are perfectly synchronized, a dance that has lasted millennia. It is our ideal order, predictability. He watched the celestial ballet, then pointed to a distant, turbulent gas cloud, nebula swirling with violent beauty. See that? That's a stellar nursery. Chaos, collision. From that, new stars are born. Both are necessary. Your people mastered the harmony. Mine, we seem to be born from the chaos. We carry it within us. For the first time, the hollow space inside her did not feel like a void, but like a question. Perhaps a lock was not meant to be preserved, but to be opened. The marriage ceremony was a blend of traditions. A Lari light binding and a human exchange of vows. His hands, warm and sure, held hers as he promised, in his resonant voice, to honor their agreement, to offer respect, and to share the journey. She felt the texture of his skin, so different from her own, and felt not revulsion, but a grounding solidity. Life in the spire settled into a new pattern. They were partners in a strange experiment. He respected her space, her duties. She provided him with unparalleled research access. They took meals together, discussing his findings, her politics, the unfolding mysteries of their situation. A fondness grew, not the fiery passion of human stories, nor the cool devotion of a Lari verse, but something woven from shared silence, mutual curiosity, and a growing, profound respect. The Grand Physician monitored them, running scans with increasing bafflement. The human's biological presence was having an effect. The princess's genetic code, once static and serene, was showing signs of what the physician could only call activation. It was as if a dormant, robust program within her was recognizing a counterpart, a catalyst. 6 months after the wedding, the physician called them both, his usually serene face alight with subdued awe. He displayed the scans. The genetic lock, the elegant, barren seal, was still present. But around it, sparked by the constant, low-level interaction with the human's dynamic biology, new pathways were forming. Life, it seemed, was not picking the lock. It was building a new door altogether. The theory was correct, but incomplete, the physician said, voice trembling. It is not a simple key. It is a collaboration. His biology does not override yours. It invites it to change, to grow. The possibility is no longer theoretical. It is imminent. The princess looked from the scans to her husband. He was not smiling in triumph. He was looking at her, his sky-colored eyes full of a wonder that mirrored her own. He reached out, a simple human gesture, and she placed one of her hands in his. The warmth was a language they both understood. The child, when she came, was a revelation. She was born not in the sterile light of a medical suite, but in the garden her father had tended. She had her mother's twilight skin and elegant bone structure, but her eyes held the stormy, creative blue of her father's world. She had 2 hands, but her grasp was preternaturally strong. She was neither fully Alari nor fully human. She was something new. The court, expecting an abomination or a diluted heir, was confronted with a vitality that silenced them. The infant's laughter was not a chime, but a rich, bubbling sound that seemed to make the very flowers lean closer. She was curious, her gaze taking in the world with a fierce, joyful intelligence. In her, the Alari harmony and human dynamism were not at war. They were in concert. The princess, holding her daughter, felt the hollow space not just filled, but overflowing. She looked at her husband, who was carefully presenting the baby with a newly bloomed bioluminescent flower. The infant cooed, reaching for the light. "She is not what anyone expected," the princess said softly. "No," her husband agreed, his finger gently caught in the child's determined grip. "She's better. She's the future." The story traveled from spire to starship, from court to colony. It was not a story of human conquest or Alari superiority. It was a story of a lock that could not be broken by force, only opened by an unexpected compliment. The alien princess who could never bear children did so because she married not a key, but a catalyst. And in that reaction, they forged not just an heir, but a new definition of life itself. The triple moons continued their perfect dance above the garden. Below, under their light, a new kind of harmony was growing, one born not from flawless silence, but from the beautiful, resilient noise of 2 worlds becoming one.